Hi, I'm Rick Malone.
And I'm Donnie Kunich.
Thanks for visiting our channel. Hey, Sun City, I'm Rick Malone with Town Square Realty. I'm out here with Donnie Kunich and Mark with Blue Water home inspections and stucco inspections. And we just want to do our weekly videos. And today we're talking about stucco, some tips, tricks, and insights. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark, and he's going to give you some ideas of things to look for and a reason to get your stucco inspected.
Good afternoon. As I'm sure everybody knows, if you live in Sun City, about some of the issues that we've had with the stucco. Primarily, most of it took effect like after Pulte took over for Del Webb. So most of the problems kind of originated around 2001, 2003 is when they kind of started, up until about 2008, 2009 when they then reverted back to doing hardy plank. So with the stucco, there's a couple different issues you may have heard people say about there's no header flashing, there's no expansion joints. Now, none of those were necessarily code violations at that point. It was more or less of a preferred practice. And unfortunately, once you have a house that's established, I mean, people always ask, should I have expansion joints added now or should I add header flashing after the fact? And as far as I'm concerned, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it isn't a bad idea to have the stucco checked. I recommend anywhere between 2 to 4 years. With the stucco, when I'm doing the inspection, obviously the first thing I do is I just do a visual inspection of it, looking for various cracks, things like that. Regarding cracks, hairline cracks are not a big deal. Stucco does crack. I look at it as if I see a hairline crack and I run my hand over it, as long as I can't grab that crack, meaning that stucco hasn't started to shift out, it's not a problem unless it does start to shift. Then people often ask, like, if it's a hairline crack, do I need to caulk or seal it? And no, the only thing that's going to do is make it more pronounced. So when the time does come, if you have the house painted, some people recommend every 7 to 10 years. When they use that elastomeric paint, most people refer to it as Luxon. That paint goes on very thick. They'll use a minimum of 2 to 3 coats. Typically, they'll roll out the first 2 layers, which will seal all of those cracks. And there is a certain amount of pliability to it, so as you do get that expansion and contraction during certain times of the year, they won't necessarily open up. People often ask, visually, can I see something that's wrong? It's hard to say. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. What I recommend is if you have an exterior wall, do a walk around on the interior periodically. If you have pictures hanging up on an interior wall, pull that picture down, and if you see a ring of or discoloration on the sheetrock behind it, that's an indicator that you may have a problem. Same thing with the baseboards that are on the inside. Most of those baseboards aren't wood. They're like a composite, like a compressed, almost like cardboard. So if you notice that baseboard starting to swell, that could be an indicator. Kitchen on an exterior wall. If you notice that your cabinet drawers all of a sudden become wonky, or if you open up the back of the cabinet, that backing should be like smooth as a baby's bottom. And if you notice that backing in that cabinet is kind of beaded, that could be an indication that something may be going on. Now, in all those cases, sometimes there are other indicators, and sometimes those don't relate to a particular problem. But, those are the visual things that occasionally will indicate an issue. Certain models, most of your problem are going to be on these gable walls, where you have this big gable. Most of your problems are going to be around the windows penetration. So if you have a window, a kitchen exhaust vent, something like that. If it's not failing there, it's typically failing at that horizontal expansion joint that separates the two. You rarely have problems up top. Normally it's going to start at the windows or at that vertical expansion joint. That's another reason why some of the older Del Webb homes fare better, is because they have the gable roofs. The hip roof rather. So you have this big soffit overhanging the windows, and that does a pretty good job of protecting it.
All right, so Mark, we really appreciate your time. Stay in tune with us for our weekly videos. If you want to get a hold of Mark, I'm gonna let Mark share his contact information with you. But we're here as advocates for Sun City. And again, thanks for listening to our tips, tricks, and insights. Mark, please give them your contact information.
Okay. It's Mark Johnson with Blue Water. And my office number is 843-422-1608. And Lisa is my office manager. She'd be more than happy to talk to you, make an appointment, or if you just have any questions or concerns, just give Lisa a call. and then I can give you a call back at my convenience if you just have any general questions or concerns or anything like that.
All right, guys, Mark's the best in the business. This is Rick Malone
Donnie Kunich.
with Town Square Realty. We hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Okay.